Hey everyone, things are getting really bad in Graubünden for the village of Brienz. We know in June, I reported about this, they have declared phase red, but now they have declared phase blue. And you might wonder, is that better than red? No, it's not. It's worse than red. Because what's happening there right now, the village of Brienz is at the brink of complete destruction, of imminent destruction. That's how bad it is. And you've all seen what happened in 2023, what happened in 2024. I've reported about this, and you see that a big part of that area has already received a landslide that shortly stopped 2 meters basically before it hit the schoolhouse. And since then, it's looming over the village. And they just said in June, it's going to depend on the weather, on the amount of rain that could make that more unstable. And we could see, unfortunately, a domino effect that could be similar to what happened in May in Blatten, this massive landslide. First, a mountain collapsed on a glacier plateau, and then all the stuff that fell on the glacier plateau was too heavy, so the whole glacier collapsed with it and came down in the valley. And we have something similar here, not with an involvement of a glacier, but we have rocks falling on a plateau that is already sliding down towards Brienz. And of course, this puts more weight on it and more weight on it. Since last November 2024, the village of Brienz has been evacuated again, and only short-term visits of residents were possible in the village of Brienz, but that's over and out now. And to be clear, they have been evacuated since November and they haven't gone back. The evacuation was in place and it even got worse. We've seen pictures of farmers that had their livestock there, their farm, the cows, everything, and even they are not allowed to get back in there. No more short term of residence. The rock masses above the village have now accelerated drastically, and the permanent relocation of the residents is most likely inevitable. Since mid-June 2025, it has been completely closed after the November evacuation. So the danger of a landslide or several landslides is imminent, and phase blue is being prepared in Brienz. Due to rainfall, several rockfalls have already occurred in Brienz, and you see how this landslide looms over the village. And it's not only that landslide that is coming down, the whole village is also moving downwards already. So around 10,000 cubic meters of rocks fell onto the material that is at risk of falling down towards the Graubünden mountain village, on the mountain village. There is now a risk of major destruction. That's what the officials are saying, because the loose material that is moving towards the village is now moving twice as fast. This is how it's coming down towards Brienz. So 1.2 million cubic meters of material is at risk of falling in a final slide onto Brienz. So because of the rain and the wet conditions, it could even slide further than previously estimated. And that's so dangerous for the mountain village, because in dry conditions, it wouldn't slide that far. So now it is at risk, basically, that the entire mountain village could be run over by that landslide. So Brienz could be buried forever. They say it's imminent. The threat level is at the highest level. Rockfalls, landslides, they are not unusual in this area. Wherever you are dealing with mountains, this is a looming threat. But this time, after the rockfalls that happened in the last weeks have occurred, the speed of the material that is at risk, coming from, they call it the scree slope above the village, has doubled in a very short time in speed. And now it's coming down with 46 centimeters per day. That is that much. That is half a step per day, guys. And it only takes a little bit for the whole thing. We have seen this in Blatten, and it happens in milliseconds. And if you're in the village, there's no way that you could escape. That's why it is so crucial, and they're so strict. Nobody's allowed in there because this can come down without a warning. The blue phase includes the closure of all surrounding traffic routes as well. So there's car traffic, there's railway traffic. And in order to react fast, the canton, that's like a province of Switzerland, the civil engineering office of the Graubünden canton and the Rhetian railway began installing traffic lights on the cantonal roads and where the railway is. So down below the village, and they just did this a few weeks ago. So should the material become loose, the roads as well as the train line will be closed immediately. Of course, if the landslide happens and a train is already in that area, I don't know how they want to manage this. And then they would basically close it down behind the train or behind the cars. I don't know. But also pedestrians, cyclists, there's a river, so paddling, fishing, canoeing is prohibited. So they want people to really stay away. They are preparing that Shizzy's going to hit the fizzy in this time. It's going to hit Brienz. It's heartbreaking, guys. I don't know how you feel, because these are people's homes, people's history, especially in Europe and in countries like Switzerland. These homes are being passed on over generations. There's the history of your grandparents, great-great-grandparents, your parents, people grew up there. This is absolutely heartbreaking to lose these homes for these people. It's easier in countries where people move all the time, where you don't build roots like that. So to know that this is all going to be destroyed, and to also have the vision in your head because you saw what happened to Blatten, this is terrifying for the residents, and I really feel for them. They're continuously reassessing the situation day by day. Every day when the weather changes, there can be big changes. And that's why, unfortunately, we see the headlines everywhere. Village of Brienz threatened with imminent destruction. And of course, the only solution, and that's what authorities are already say, is the village will have to be abandoned forever because there's so much material. There could be another landslide. The whole village is sliding down. So it looks right now the village is already lost. They came up with plans. You can get relocation from the government, you can get lots, but you have to make sure that your house in Brienz is going to be torn down. That was the condition. That's brutal as well. And we have talked about this. Many of you have proposed, well, why don't you just explode that material and see that it, doesn't come down as a big monster. And authorities said that they have considered this, but that it is too dangerous to send someone up there to drill the holes and hide the explosion material. But also I'm wondering, couldn't we use drones? Or then they're also worried, they said, who's going to pay for that if now we explode the landslide and then the landslide does destroy the village? But since the landslide is eventually destroying the village for good anyways, most likely, why not take the risk and work something out with insurances and whatever, and see if you blow it up controlled, maybe you can divert it. I mean, why not try? The village is lost anyways. So yeah, I agree with you what you wrote, but they're obviously not doing this. And yeah, I'm not an expert on this. I think, yeah, let's try, right? For something that's going to be lost anyways, what you have to lose. But there's bureaucracy, there's rules. That's always in the way, and they would probably need to make a deal maker, someone that comes in and says to the insurances and say, hey, you're going to have to pay anyways, let's make a deal, or talk to the residents. Because now, I mean, if your condition is you are going to be resettled but you have to tear down your house, then you're not getting money from the insurance anyways, so why not make a deal? That would be my proposal. But I think they need some mediator for this, and as far as it looks, it's not going to happen, and maybe it's right now, it's already too late for that to happen. I'll keep you updated, guys. There's lots of stuff going on, crazy stuff going on, so please check out the videos in the end screen. If you want to support the channel, check out the links in the description underneath this video here, underneath the video player. You can fill me up with coffee on my coffee site, or click the membership button for behind the scene videos. For my civil level members, I have a cool picture of Rudy. Maybe you have already seen that. Yeah, guys, thank you for your supers, for your comments, for sharing, liking, and watching. Please stay safe. I recently drove a mountain pass, and then there were warning signs said rocks coming down. I'm like, oh yeah, great. And it was 2 lanes, and they said stay in the right lane. I'm like, nope, I'm staying in the left lane. I want to see if something comes down. I have a little bit more time to react when you see these naked slopes where you see everything. And there was a sign, it said landslide. I'm like, oh, interesting. And there was a landslide. They have moved the rocks away, but they haven't secured any mountainslides or anything. So it's great. You're driving through that, and basically it can come down at any time. And since I'm reporting about this all the time, you think about this more. So guys, be aware of your surroundings. Stay safe. I see you soon. Bye-bye.